If you're using AIQ and you've never gone deeper than the default audiences that came with your account, this video is for you. AIQ's Audience Builder is the most powerful thing in the tool, and most operators are barely scratching the surface. We're talking hundreds of filters, over 200 to be exact. Filter options across 7 different categories. So you've got purchase behavior, loyalty data, predicted AI scores, channel engagement, website behavior. There's a ton of shit. So today I'm going to walk through all of it, piece by piece, so that you can learn how to use it and get the most out of it. Every category, what it does, and how to actually use and build segments that drive revenue, right? Not just weekly deal campaigns that drive me nuts. And I've also got a resource that I built specifically for this video. We'll get into that in a second. Just a quick note, I'm Brett Hahn with Pinelands Marketing. I specialize in lifecycle marketing and CRM strategy for cannabis retailers. If that's interesting to you, the link's in the description. So let's dive in though. Now, before I actually get into the platform that you can see on the screen, I want to show you something I built for this video and a resource that I wish I had a long time ago when I started using AIQ, because it's just something that's really needed. And what it is a simple segmentation guide that I built. You'll see the tabs across the bottom are going to go into each section of AIQ's audience filters, right? From contact traits, performed traits, computed, predicted, custom, and so forth. How to use them, practical use cases. So if you look at, for example, contact traits, this is going to be obviously age, gender, did they sign up, when did they sign up? So you can kind of see here, you'll see the different traits in the tool. What does it filter? What's a general use case for the business? And how you can kind of apply that for your business. So you'll see contact traits. There's a ton. So this is going to be going down. You've got over 45 of them for contact traits. Perform traits, you've got I think over 100. There's a ton, and this is the most important one that you'll use. Computed traits, another key one that you'll use. And just for reference, if you're actually in Alpine IQ, right, and you're building audiences, you're going to see contact traits. There's a ton, right? That's what I'm talking about right here. Perform traits, same thing. So it's, what are all these? How can I use them for my business? And that's what I put together in this document. So hopefully it's helpful. There'll be a link in the description to download this yourself. A couple extra things at the end is going to be the platform mechanics, just simple things to be aware of. What audience are, how does it all kind of work, how can you use the audience tool, so you'll kind of see like what are the limits. And then Alpine does have its AI audience generator, which is good, and it's getting better, especially now that they have Terply data integrated, right? And Terply is going to be that predictive modeling platform that Alpine bought last summer. So more good stuff to come, more data science models on the way, from what they tell me. So I'm excited about that. And they just rolled out flows recently, so all good stuff. But anyway, you can see this. I'm not going to belabor the point. I'll share the link in the description. You get it for yourself, and hopefully it's a helpful tool for you as in your business as you start to really dig deep in audiences, segmentation. Let's get away from the weekend deals bullshit that every dispensary sends out. It drives me nuts. You've got a treasure trove of data, customer data, and some of the richest data in all business. We know what customers bought, when they bought it, how often they bought it, what do they like in their basket, all that good stuff. And Alpine's got a ton of audience capability to really dig deep in your segmentation and get surgical. So let's jump into it a little bit piece by piece, if you don't mind. So let me just pull up my notes real quick. So pardon me as I jump to my notes. So let's go into the actual dashboard. So for those that are new to Alpine, you're going to jump into your dashboard, all right? Then you're going to go to customers, Just one second, go to customers and then audiences, right? This is where you're gonna build your audiences. You go to create audience, okay? As I mentioned, you've got 7 categories. You've got contact traits, performed events, computed trait, predicted traits, and so forth. So let's go one by one, and we'll go from there. So once you create that audience, let's go through contact traits. So contact traits, what you're going to see, you got name, age, gender, right? Are they a loyalty member? When's their birthday? Is their birthday relative? That's pretty cool. You can build a segment saying their birthday's in 14 days. So let's send them a heads up gift saying, hey, we are your birthday headquarters. Here's a gift. Come pick it up before your birthday, right? What's their favorite store? Are they opted into email? Do they have an email or phone number? Do they have a valid mailing address, right? So these are going to be more the demographic, things. Are they a rec, med customer? That stuff's all important, right? What's their life cycle stage? Have they been won back, right? So that's all very important. There's 37 of them, so most of what you expect, and I think it's pretty good. I think life cycle stage, just a quick example, right? Life cycle stage, Alpine has presets, right? They're active, which means they've been purchasing the last 30 days. Chilling, they're starting to fall off, right? They've had at least 2 purchases, so that way Alpine can measure how often they make their purchases and say they purchase every 30 days, right? Now all of a sudden they're at day 35. Okay, now they're starting to chill, right? Absent, they haven't been around in about 60 days, I believe is what it is. Highly absent, farther than that and gone. These are great to use to kind of preset on your own, or you can build your own segments if you want to get a little bit more sophisticated. And there's ways you can kind of chop that up, saying, hey, they're chilling, which means they usually shop every 30 days and they make at least 2 purchases a month. Now all of a sudden it's been 45 days and they've only made 1 purchase in the last 45 days, right? And you can kind of get a little more surgical there, so that way you can, kind of narrow it down your audience from that perspective. Loyalty member obviously is an important one. If you're doing loyalty, loyalty communications versus non. Hopefully everybody is a loyalty member in your program, right? I'd recommend don't let them in the program unless don't let them get any loyalty points and bonuses or anything like that unless they opt into email and text, and obviously be a full member of the loyalty program. So that's that one. You can say they're true or false. Medical versus recreational is an important one for the businesses that have both. So you'll see that down. Where is that at? Yep, medical, recreational. Medical is true or false, right? Recreational. Birthday filters, like I mentioned, I love that one. Is it their birthday month? Is it birthday relative? You can say their birthday is in the next, right? Let's just say 13 to 14 days, right? I want to say, so in 2 weeks, and we want to send them a communication, and we can set up an automated communication saying, hey, your birthday's in 2 weeks, we're your headquarters, we loaded this discount into your wallet, come and get it, right? And then have a couple of reminders along the way. I think that's the name of the game. Had a lot of success doing that. Medical ID expirations one, right? I think that's an important one. Again, for the businesses that have that. Where is that guy? Somewhere in here. Yep, here we go. Right here. Boom. Sign up URL is one that you could, if you have different AIQ sign up forms on your website or wherever you might be at events for your field team. You could say they signed up, right? URL contains, and then if you have that specific link for, say, your field team's events at a concert, you can set up welcome flows or just triggered emails to the people that sign up at that event with a special discount, for example. Let's move to performed events. So performed events, you'll see, let's go there. So performed events, has all the audiences. There's a ton of stuff in here. This one is going to have everything you need. So there's over 100 filters, things like what the customer's done. Did they buy something? Did they open a text? Did they click a link? Did they abandon a cart? Did they install their wallet pass? So a lot of that behavioral data. I'm going to hit on the most important ones for you, and I'll break it down. Again, it's going to be in tab 2 of this guy, right, it's going to be in this perform, and there's a ton of stuff. And again, use cases, pro tips, how to use. So hopefully it's a good guide for you. So let's go back to Alpine, and let's go through. Let me just pull up my notes. 1 second. 1 second. Here we go. Okay. All right. So the first one you're going to want, you got your purchase filters, right? So performed event. So let's check out the purchase filters. So when was their first purchase? All right, I'm going to say first purchase. When were they first seen? First seen's important because they could have signed up and never made a purchase, right? You still want them to welcome. When was their first purchase? Okay, let's look at when was their last purchase, right? I'm going to say their last purchase was between a certain date, right? Their first purchase was in the last, right? 0 to 1 days, right? That's going to get you your welcome. It's going to trigger your welcome flow. Let's see what else we've got. Purchase category, right? So I can say purchased from a specific store. They purchased a specific product. They purchased a specific brand, a category. They purchased X category, X brand categories a number of times, right? If you have a specific SKU, fulfillment type. When was their second last purchase? Their last purchase contained what category, right? Have they made a purchase from a flow, right? Flows is live now in AIQ, so they added that functionality. What's their average days between purchases? Every 7 days. Now you're at 21 days for that customer. There's your chilling audience right there. How many purchases a year? Did they do 12 a year, so they're monthly, right? Do they do more? Do they do less? Has purchased amount, total purchase quantity, right? Days of last purchase amount, and so forth. So a lot of really good stuff there. And those are going to be your foundational audiences. Last purchase is how you're going to define that recency, right? 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Your first purchase triggers, you're going to really flow off that. Your welcome flows, second, third, fourth, fifth purchase reminders. That's going to be really feeding in, and then you're going to have all your product-based segmentation if you want to start versioning your weekend deals and saying flower people are going to get the flower deals, edible people are going to get the edible deals, and so forth. So another one, most commonly bought category, most commonly bought brand, product SKU, right? So those, that's how you can do that kind of more behavioral segmentation. So you can really do that personalized deal message or whatever it might be. The abandoned cart, another good one. They abandoned their cart in the last 0 to 1 days. Campaigns has the abandoned cart filter. So when you're actually building a campaign in Alpine IQ, you're going to see the abandoned cart kind of filter when you're building the campaign configuration. That's going to pick people up within 2 hours coming from the website and abandoning that cart. So that's going to be real time. That you actually don't need an audience. But if you do, say, a 3-part abandoned cart program, you're going to want to say they abandoned their cart, let's say 2 to 3 days ago. Or you could build an audience that says they received abandoned cart 1, right, which had that abandoned cart filter in the campaign. So that way it was real time, 2 hours delay. And then you can build an audience and say, hey, they received that campaign yesterday. They haven't made a purchase. Let's hit them up with another reminder. Or they received it 5 days ago and they still haven't made a purchase. Let's hit up with a reminder and a discount, right? Discount coupon filters, let's look at those. So did they use a discount? Did they not use a discount ID? When's their discount expire? So that's going to be that relative expiration date. So as it expires in 3 days, hit them with that last chance. You can see a couple other ones. You got Terply reviews. I'm not going to dig into that, but have they redeemed a discount from a flow? Right, there you go. Flows is now live. Rebuild all your automations in flows, and now you can start to use audiences like this to dig deeper, build suppressions, all that good stuff. Let's look at opt-in, right? Are they opted in to text? When did they opt in? Opt-in request status, did they get that reply yes or no? Did they opt out, right? Did they opt into email, browser? Don't really use browsers, but you could. Same with voice. We use those channels. There you go. Native push. If you don't have a push, get a push. I think it's like $500 a month to have Alpine's push app. It's going to be in the App Store. No brainer. Cheap and easy. Works great. And it's a lot better than just the wallet link for customers. Apple Wallet, right? So there's your opt-ins. And then we just want to say channel engagement. Opened any email. They opened a specific SMS from a campaign ID from any campaign. Did they not open any SMSs? If I've sent at least 10 to you and you've never opened them, I'm going to suppress you from my communications going forward. Same with emails, right? That's how you keep your deliverability good and obviously your ROI on your marketing efforts. Don't send to dead people, right? Don't send to dead emails, dead texts, and all that good stuff. So you can kind of see how it opened, right? I want to say, well, if they clicked something from me, from a campaign, then they're highly engaged, right? So let's keep following up with them, right? Number of clicked links in campaign messages. So that's how you can kind of start to understand who your highly engaged folks are when you go that route. So that's going to be it for predictive. Let's jump to computed traits, right? So computed traits are going to be the calculated fields, right? And these are very valuable, and there's about 30 of them. AIQ does the math for you, so based on the purchase history. So these are going to be the RFM building blocks. So it's going to be your recency, frequency, monetary value. Well, it's going to be all in one place. So are they a top 20% spender, right? That's a really good one for your VIP program, right? Are they in certain audiences or not, right? That's how you can use suppressions as you're building audiences and whatnot. Average days between purchases, very important. Average ticket size, right? Say they spend at least $100 every time they come in. That's my VIPs. How many loyalty orders? Total spent by loyalty. Total spent by brand. Mean purchases per month. We already looked at that a little bit. Total spent. Total number of times they spent at least $50, $500. Right? These total site page views. Now that's if you have the pixel tracking on the website. Again, most commonly we already looked at some of these as I was querying in the performed, but day of last purchase amount, right? You can kind of see these things. Is an opt-out freeze window. Don't use that one, but you could. Again, that most commonly purchased one is really important. Let's go to the next one. We're going to go to predicted traits. There's not many. Likely customer lifetime value, right? You want to say, hey, more than $5,000. Now, Alpine, the way they measure lifetime value, going on your average and saying, okay, what was your average spend over the last year? And then let's transfer that out. Let's expand that out to 3 years, I believe is what it is. So if you spend $1,000 a year, they're going to say your lifetime value is going to be 1,000 times 3, right? I think something around there. They do have in the description in their help docs. I'll dig into it and add it to the description. But really good one there. Likely to buy a brand, likely to buy a category, so forth. Likely to return soon. That's a good one, right? This one specifically means AIQ is predicting when they'll return next 6 days, 7 days. Really good time to hit them with the win-back communication. So as we get into the last three, custom brand traits, these are going to be, notice there's nowhere to go on them. Hold on, let me just do this. These are going to be, these three, they're different from everything else. They're going to be pre-filled filters. So when you're uploading audiences, uploading lists, you can have those custom columns and tied to the customer record. So you can say, these are my, Pineland VIPs or whatever. You're tagging them in your upload, and then that flows here to the custom brand traits, pixel traits, or product traits. So that's kind of how those work. So that upload data, you might get something from a brand partner. You have your custom pixel traits on the website that'll flow through there. Browser behavior, page views, products browsed, all that kind of stuff kind of comes through. So if they're empty when you click them, it's because you haven't uploaded anything yet. So once you start uploading data with those custom attribute fields, then they'll become available. So reference tab number 5 here to kind of give you some overview of how that all breaks down. So as we kind of keep going, AI Audience Builder. If we look at that, let's see. We're going to skip that for now, actually. If we go here, so let's jump to a couple last things. So let's actually build a couple simple audiences for you. So I'm going to build one just so you have an example. Lapsed. So let's do, I'm going to say loyalty member is true, right? Last seen in the last 60 to 90 days, right? I might want to say something like this as a little fail-safe, right? Total spent is exactly $0 in the last 0 to 59 days, right? Well, I don't have any customer data in here, but so if I'd hit forecast, it would show me the audience size. But this is a demo sandbox for me, so it's not going to actually pull up any customer info. But you can kind of see here, I'm saying they're a loyalty member, and last time they're seen was 60, 90 days ago, and they didn't spend anything in the last 59 days. Again, Alpine has and or functions. You can't build a single audience with both. So you have to say it's either all ands or all ors. Now, if you have to do something like both, you're gonna have to build multiple audiences and kind of feed them off each other as like a suppression, right? Let's build high value segment, right? Let's do that. So I wanna say top 20% spender is true. Let's get rid of this other stuff. I kind of want to make sure they're a loyalty member, right? They support the program. I might want to say they total spent maybe is more than $1,000, right, in the last year. Well, it's not going to, by default or by habit, I hit forecast, but again, this is the demo, so it's not going to show me the data. But you can kind of see here, top 20% spender, boom, they're in that bucket. They're a loyalty member, and I want to make sure they spent at least $1,000 in the last year, so they're active. You kind of got that, right? Likely return, I like that one, right? So you might say, let's do that. Let's kill these other filters. Likely to return, true, right? There we go, got that. Let's also do most commonly bought category. I'm gonna say contains, right? I'm gonna say edible, right? Or I might say vape, or I might say cart, depending on how your POS categories are set up. You wanna follow those. You might say pre-roll. You might need to have a dash, right? Things like that. Concentrate. That's how you can kind of start to build segments, behavioral segments, and then start to have different versions of your campaigns going out. Let's talk about point modifiers. So a little bit of the advanced settings down here. So if you want to include anonymous users, you can, right? So you can kind of see what that does. These are people you don't have name, email, or phone, but if you're building an audience, you want to kind of just understand what's the full volume of customers that meet that criteria. You can do that. Obviously, you just can't message them. Audience status, turn it on or off, right? You kind of see that here. Modify points, very important. So if you want to give some boosts to specific folks, so let's say I want to give my top 20% people $100, 100 point boost because I like them, right? I want to do a specific date, right? I'm going to do, when I do times in the calendar, I always go to 0 of one day and then to the next day, or if it's just a single day, you can do that too. But I just cover the whole day, it doesn't really matter. But that way it's just available for that whole day. But anyhow, you can do boost right there. Do I want to multiply, right? I want to do 2 times point Tuesday type stuff. again, choose your dates here. If you want to do a specific time frame, you do that all down here. Or maybe I want to do, hey, I only want it for my in-house brand, Pinelands, right? They got to purchase that, or a specific SKU, or I want to do for flower only, right? Or specific store IDs. That's all really great stuff, which is nice. So that's how the multipliers work. You can zero people's points out too. If you're trying to remove all the points from employees, whatever the audience might be, use that tool. You can filter data sources. Filter data sources from the audience, here if you want. And that's about it. I'm not going to dig into anything else. You can do audience badges, which is kind of cool. So if you have your VIPs, right, you want to throw in a badge for them, that can show up in their app, in their wallet. So that's kind of nice. Again, data destination, that's more like, do you want to push data somewhere? So that's an important one. If you have another email platform, ad network, another CRM that you want to kind of push from Alpine to, you can do that. So before I let you go, let's jump back here. 4 things I put into practice immediately. So 1, build your 5 lifecycle stage audiences first. So you got your new, active, at-risk, lapsed, won-back. Always attach on automations to these. Win-backs drive so much money, all right? So that's going to be the easiest no-brainer for you. Step number 2, every SMS audience needs text opt-in at status equal to true. Alpine already automatically does it for you. They won't send anything out unless someone's opted in. So they have that safeguard in place. But always make sure that you build your audiences to understand your sizing, and just as a fail-safe, right? 3, average days between purchases to time your win-back campaigns, right? So that's how you get a little more surgical in your win-back campaigns. It's not just given like, you haven't been here in 3 months, everybody's getting this, right? Use total spent or average spent, average ticket size. So you can start doing some RFM based on their monetary spend. So your $100 purchasers are going to get a little bit more than your bottom feeders, right? Number 4, likely to return soon. Great audience to really kind of have it triggered to just give that nice little nudge for upsell. So I think that's really, hopefully this is a good deep dive. The reference sheet I'll include in the link, YouTube link. Again, every filter, every use case, all pro tips, it's all going to be in here. So use it. Hopefully it's going to be a great resource for you and your team. If you have questions, you reach out to me. Download the reference sheet. It's going to be free. But thanks for watching. Until next time, take it easy.